Hello, good evening, everyone, to everyone in the Philippines, and a warm hello to everyone else in the world, wherever you may it be morning, noon, or night. I am Dr. Anne Rodriguez, and I will be one of your hosts for tonight. So, welcome to another evening of the Wellness Avenue. A lot of changes have happened, but I am ecstatic to be back. And to be honest, I am really excited for tonight's episode. But first, let me introduce to you my co host, the host of Hope Channel in Cebu, Sorianan Peralta. Hello, and welcome to Wellness Avenue.
Hello, Doc Ann. Good evening. And to all our viewers, thank you for having me here in Wellness Avenue. And today's episode is sure going to be a hit. Now, of course, with summer coming up, of course, everyone wants to know how to lose the unnecessary weight. But of course, our guests tonight will help us lose weight the lifestyle medicine way. All right. Hello everyone, and I'm sure everybody is probably excited to really learn. Even I myself, I'm intrigued as to how do we really lose weight, the lifestyle medicine way or the healthier way, so to speak, right? And of course, today's lifestyle medicine discussion will be all about having a healthy approach to weight loss, like what I've mentioned earlier. And Doc Ann also mentioned this earlier. And everybody wants to feel good in their own skin. And tonight's episode will definitely help you do that. I personally have dealt with weight fluctuations. Yes, that is true. And I'm sure you do too. And lack of motivation and even feeling helpless about what to do to be able to obtain a healthy weight. And thankfully, you don't have to go through that too because our guests tonight will help us in our journey to lose weight and keep it off the lifestyle medicine way, right? I myself, I would say, I used to be an athlete. I ran marathons, and then I stopped after a few years. So of course, I gained weight. I had a hard time losing the extra weight that I didn't have before. Oh, Doc Ann, welcome back. And I was just trying to tell them about, how I also got a little bit of dilemma in trying to lose some extra weight during the time that I gained weight. And in this episode, we will be talking to them. Our guests will be talking to them about how to do it healthier. Now, ask you to please invite your family and friends for tonight's episode, and don't forget to share away our live streaming tonight. And remember those hashtags: hashtag the Wellness Avenue, hashtag PCLM Talk Show Series, and also lifestyle medicine. Hashtag lifestyle medicine. And feel free to comment down your questions for our guests. And of course, before that, we will talk about statistics.
Right. So thank you, Renan, for that. I know you, me, and a lot of other people have had trouble with weight throughout our lives. But first, here's a few statistics. How bad has obesity gotten? Do you actually have an idea, Renan?
Hmm. I'm not sure, but I hope it's not too bad, Doc Ann.
Actually, it's pretty bad. So, according to the
Oh,
WHO, worldwide obesity has nearly tripled since 1975. I know that sounds
wow.
like a long time ago, but in 2016 only, it was found that when talking about children and adolescents aged 5 to 19, there were over 340 million of them who were obese.
Wow. Wow, that's a huge number, Doc Ann. And
It is.
you are right with those statistics. And when we talk about adults, those aged 18 and above, in 2016, WHO found that there were 1.9 billion adults who were overweight, and 13% of them were obese. So that's still 247 million adults. That's a
I don't
lot.
think it is. It is a lot. I don't think people realize that obesity is a pandemic. I
Hmm.
know that pales in comparison to the pandemic that's going on now with COVID-19, but obesity does take a lot of lives still.
Yeah.
Having a raised BMI is a major risk factor for several diseases, including diabetes, musculoskeletal disorder, cancer, cardiovascular disease, such as heart disease and stroke. So, the last two, heart disease and stroke, are the leading causes of death worldwide. 8.9 million deaths in 2019 were because of ischemic heart disease, and 6.1 million deaths were caused by stroke. So, it can be really scary, but don't worry, everyone, because the good news is obesity is preventable.
Yes, it's absolutely preventable. And do you want to know? Of course, stay with us then. And while we have a few words from our sponsors.
Our gut is the home of trillions of living microorganisms. In order to live, multiply, and perform their functions, they need to be fed sufficiently, or else they will look for other sources of food within our body, which will eventually make us sick. Fruits and vegetables contain prebiotics, such as fructooligosaccharides, the right food for our gut bacteria. However, proper amount may not be acquired through natural food only. Hence, supplementation is needed too. Feed your gut with Folago.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Welcome back, everyone. And thank you for staying with us. Um, Before we introduce our guests, may we invite the chair of the Education Committee and treasurer of the Philippine College of Lifestyle Medicine, Dr. Bishi Fernan, for a few words. Good evening, Doc Bishi.
Good
Hello,
evening,
Doc. Good
Sorenan. Good
evening.
evening, Anne. Um, Welcome to another engaging webinar series tonight, no, on healthy approach to weight loss. So, according to WHO, as Dr. Anne said a while ago, that um, obesity has tripled, no, since 1975, and 39% of adults are obese or overweight, no, and 18%, 18 years, 39% no, of adults aged 18 years old and above are overweight, and 13% are obese. So in the Philippines, 28.8% are overweight, and 9.6% are obese among adults. So all the cities in Metro Manila had a prevalence of more than 30% of overweight, no, and 10% are obese. And but the good news is, no, lifestyle medicine is here. No, it has a big role in curbing this problem, and obesity is actually preventable. So tonight, no, let's enjoy and learn the healthy way to lose weight, stay healthy, fit, and fabulous. And good evening once again. Thank you.
thank you so much, Dr. Bishi Fernan. I hope that you and everyone will stick around until the very end because it will be a very fun and informative evening for all of us. Plus, we have great prizes for everyone, so stay here. Now, let's move on to introducing our guests. Let me go first, Suranan. So, for our first guest, we have Miss Eden Elisan. She is the Associate Director of the Lifestyle Medicine Department of the Adventist Medical Center Manila, a registered nutritionist dietitian at the Adventist Medical Center Manila also, and a diplomate of the International Board of Lifestyle Medicine. She holds a master's degree in public health, major in health education and promotion, and is a trained diabetes educator of the Philippine Association of Diabetes Educators. And finally, she is also a trained renal nutritionist at the National Kidney and Transplant Institute. So everyone, let's please welcome Ms. Eden Elisan. Good
Hi,
evening.
good evening, Doc Ann, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of this program, Wellness Avenue.
Hello, Ma'am Eden. Welcome to the show.
Next, we have Dr. Christian Flores. Doc Christian is a graduate of the University of Santo Tomas for his pre-med and medical proper. education, of course, and finished his internal medicine residency at the medical city. After getting married and living abroad, Dr. Christian continued his practice in the Philippines as a clinical associate at the internal medicine department and as a coordinating physician at the wellness center, both in the medical city. He is also an occupational medicine physician and as well as a certified physician with the Philippine Association of the Study of Overweight Obese and the American College of Sports Medicine. He has undergone mentorship in the practice of functional medicine and is also a lifestyle medicine diplomat. He is currently the medical director of the Wellness and Aesthetics Institute of the Medical City. So, welcome to Wellness Avenue. And Dr. Christian, thank you for spending your evening with us. A wonderful evening to our guest speakers. So, of
Good
course,
evening,
there will
Reina.
be, yes, hello, Doc. Good evening. Thank you for being with us here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that kind introduction. I'd like to say good evening to all our viewers, the PCLM community and its leaders, and to all our viewers in social media, to Dr. Ann and to my co-guest, Eden. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here the second time around. I think I did the first talk in the Wellness Avenue about exercise last year. It's been several months since then, but I'm still happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. And of course, we welcome both of our guest speakers, Doc Ann. So, we do have a few questions for our doctors. So, we will get to them in a bit. All right. So, like what I mentioned, there has been some questions that we have for our guests. And the first question is for Dr. Christian. Dr. Christian, the question is, how does one find out if they are overweight or obese?
Okay, thank you for that. Basically, you get a weighing scale, find out your weight, and get your height so that you can get the BMI or the body mass index. That's the most commonly used tool because it's simple to use. You don't need a high-tech machine. It doesn't cost much. No, there are also other ways to measure weight. No, actually, our aim here is not just to get the weight, but also to get the weight from body fat. So we have other two measures such as waist circumference and waist to hip ratio there. So going back to BMI, BMI, it's a very simple equation. You get the weight in kilos and then you divide it by the height in meters square. So seen in the slide, there is an example of how to do it. There are also calculators online. Madali nang gawin yan. Now, what does BMI imply? The BMI actually implies whether you have, it categorizes your weight, whether you're underweight, normal weight, overweight, or obese, based on the absolute number or the number that comes up after you compute for it. So we use the Asia Pacific standard to determine whether your BMI is under a certain category. So we used to actually use WHO, but WHO criteria has been uh, used with Western population. So mas malaki yung they're taller, they have bigger body mass in general as compared to Asians. So we are using Asia Pacific classification for BMI, and the normal BMI is between 18.5 to 23. There, as you can see here on the right hand side, no? That's the WPRO. and 18.5 and 22.9. If you're 23 and above, you're already at a risk, depending on the number. No, the higher the number, the higher the risk. So yeah, that's basically it. No? Moving forward, pa, no? The reason why we have adopted a relatively new way of categorizing BMI as opposed to WHO is that if we use WHO, we tend to underreport the mas marami kasi nagkakaroon ng cardiovascular disease and diabetes even if the BMI of Asians don't reach 30. So kaya medyo in-adjust yan to classify obesity already among Asians at around 25. Kasama na dyan ang Pilipino.
Oh.
Yeah, so
All right. So I hope our viewers were able to take note of that. That was very informative. Thank you so much, Doc Christian, for enlightening us on the data and how we're going to know or find out, whether we are overweight or obese. What I really got from there is that we have to start from our BMI for us to know, right? So, as a follow-up question, Dr. Christian, what are the risks of being overweight or obese?
Okay, it was mentioned earlier that being overweight or obese is related to common chronic disease conditions such as type 2 diabetes and heart disease, ischemic heart disease. So seen here in this slide are the different effects of obesity based on three general categories. Biomechanical, meaning the direct effect of the weight itself. It may cause loosening of certain organs, such as your esophagus or stomach. It may exacerbate attacks. It may compress the lungs, sleeping, yung tinatawag na restrictive lung disease, maybe secondary to obesity, especially kapag medyo mataas talaga ang BMI, more than 35. It may lead eventually to disturbance in sleep, as we call it sleep apnea. But cardiometabolic causes are related to biochemical effects of having excessive body fat. So you may actually have problems with blood cholesterol. They're expected to be high if you have some issues with weight. Blood pressure also may start to rise up. Your insulin levels may, although adequate, the target organs such as your muscles and your liver might be insensitive or resistant to the effect of your own insulin, may lead to pre-diabetic states, and makita yan with the blood chemistries, like the fasting blood sugars. It may also cause a type of liver disease that's not related to alcohol. It's called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. May also lead to problems with fertility or menstruation, may lead to polycystic ovarian syndrome. Ultimately, the two most common complications are diabetes and cardiovascular disease. Other conditions, as stated here, androgen deficiency, all kinds of cancer. You may also develop gallstone disease. And of course, the stigma that's being brought about by excessive weight, psychological effects that may eventually lead to depression and low self-esteem. So those are basically the different kinds of effects of obesity, at least medically speaking.
So much for those pieces of information, Doc Christian. I'm sure there's other questions that we would like to ask our guests. May I ask Doc Ann to come up and
Yes,
ask the next
definitely.
question?
Yes. Okay. So this question is for Ma'am Eden. We know losing weight is difficult for a lot of people. What tips can you share with our viewers to help them on their journey to living healthier lives?
Okay, thank you for that question. We know that weight loss has never been easy and there is no shortcut about other weight loss commercial and products tells you, such as taking pills, follow this protein shakes, buy this equipment, and so on and so forth, as if everything will melt away like magic. So weight loss is all about your genuine commitment to your health every day, regardless of the ups and downs. And the dietary habits and lifestyle requires willpower, dedication, and perseverance. So let me just start muna doon sa five rights, no? So ano yung five rights? Eat the right kind of food. Eat the right amount. And third is eat at the right time. And fourth is eat at the right place. And five, eat at the right state of mind. So dun sa eat the right kind, of course, we would like to share with you yung mga whole food plant-based diet, no? Those food that are high in fiber, because they can fill your stomach, and actually it can you can consume less calories if you eat a lot of high fiber food. And more food must be eaten if you are actually eating those food that are less in fiber. What are the food that are high in fiber? Sample po niyan is yung brown rice natin instead of white rice, or whole wheat bread instead of white bread, and your noodles. You can add your veggies, your bok choy, your potatoes, your okra, and even your toge there, and a lot of variety of foods, colorful food from the plant kingdom. Whole food, plant-based, they are loaded with essential nutrients for your metabolism to work efficiently. So yung mga B vitamins doon sa mga food natin po ay essential po yan, importante for our metabolism to work. So eat the right kind and eat the right amount, no? So do not eat more than your body needs. So we have this harahachibu. Yung harahachibu po is kasabihan doon sa Japan, no? Na 80% when you're full, you stop. You just leave your stomach 20%, yung space niya, and then you stop eating. Because the body will be overwhelmed, overtaxed with the amount of food in the system. Kasi overeating po causes the stomach to expand beyond its normal size to adjust the large amount of food. And we don't want you to overeat talaga. That's why eat the right amount. And the third is eat at the right time. So regular meal time, very important yan. Eating your breakfast, yan yung pinaka first assignment natin in the morning. Skipping breakfast po kasi will not help you lose weight, no? You could miss out on essential nutrients, and you may end up snacking more throughout the day because you feel hungry. So you break your fast throughout the night, and when you eat breakfast talaga, it will really help you in facing the challenges for the whole day. And for the fourth, eat at the right place, no? So restaurant, fast food that provide healthy food, or at home ba, or in the workplace. So where you can best eat the food that promote healthy eating and will give you choices. The ambience will make either you eat healthy or unhealthy. And the fifth is eat at the right state of mind. So be happy when you eat, enjoy your food. Do not eat when you're angry, when you're mad. Negative thoughts kasi will affect your digestion. And you have to chew your food. How many times? Like 36 to 40 times. And enjoy the blessing of the Lord He's giving you to us, no? We will have, and also drink a lot of water kasi 0 calories sila. It makes you full, and avoid sugar drinks. Read the food labels. You will be informed about the ingredients and the nutrients that you're buying, and cut down on alcohol kasi mataas yung calories ng alcoholic drinks. Per gram niyan, 7 calories, and plan your meals. That's very important. So that's the tips I can share with you.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Eden. I hope everyone at home watching or anywhere you may be, you guys took note of those 5 rights. As a follow-up question, though, for Ma'am Eden, there are many popular diets out there for weight loss. I know you mentioned earlier about eating the right kind of food and eating the right amount, but the timing, I want to focus on the timing. Can you identify certain types of diets that may be harmful to one's health?
Okay. Number one siguro, I have a lot of patients kasi they have a lot of sickness diseases because of choosing this kind of diet, especially the ketogenic diet.
Okay.
Yes, one of that is ketogenic diet. No, kasi like 75% of their food comes from fatty foods,
Yeah.
and very low percentage of carbohydrates, almost like 5% lang. So it can really harm their health. And the paleo diet, because it's high protein diet. What else? Others, they are choosing the intermittent fasting, but as long as you can sustain that kind of diet.
Okay, thank you so much for those. I know that this is a very controversial question, no? So I hope, though, that you take this information as our help to you guys. But for this next question, this is for both of our guests. And I know that Ma'am Eden already touched on this. What can you say about intermittent fasting? Can we go deeper into it? Is there a certain duration and method of doing it for it to be healthy?
Okay. Can I answer first?
Sure, Doc.
So, intermittent fasting has been gaining a lot of attention in media, no? And actually, everyone's been doing it because it's easy really to implement it. And a lot of people actually, before it became a fad, are already actually doing intermittent fasting. As Ma'am Eden said, the advice is to eat breakfast once you wake up. But a lot of individuals, actually the busy ones, they skip breakfast. Kahit nga mga bata, they do it. So, in a way, they're actually doing intermittent fasting. So I've been looking. So there are different ways actually to do it. No, may ibang time-based, meaning within the day you just fast for several hours, and the typical format is 16 hours fasting. And then you have that 8-hour window that you can eat. Iba naman, you can do 24-hour fasting on alternate days, every other day, every 2 days, every 3 days. So actually, there are several systemic reviews and so many studies that it shows that it's at least as effective as caloric restriction. Normally, we subtract 500 calories per day for you to every day in a week so that you can lose a pound a week. So basically, that's what we call caloric restriction. Now, this one, parang there's so many studies sa pinag-aralan, sinasabi na intermittent fasting is at least as effective as caloric restriction, especially kapag matagal yung duration ng intermittent fasting. Pag umaabot ng at least 6 months to 1 year, comparable ang effect. So, during that time also, not just the weight ang tinitignan, there are studies that also look into the health effect of intermittent fasting. So there are studies that show that for those patients who went intermittent fasting who lost weight, they also dropped their blood pressure a certain percentage, they dropped their fasting blood sugar, the HbA1c, and insulin levels. So it appears nga that may konting advantage ang intermittent fasting. And lastly, last advantage is that if you do, so comparable ang effect, but in terms of compliance, kasi if you do caloric restriction, you restrict your number of calories for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So the effect there is that you might actually be feeling these hunger pangs or hunger signals all throughout the day. Not exactly that intense, but it's always there. Almost always there until matawid mo yung gutom na yan with a major meal. With intermittent fasting, however, especially if you follow, for example, 16-hour fast, the first meal is 12, the last meal is 8, itutulog mo na lang yan eh. And then when you wake up, dun mo actually mararamdaman yung gutom. And it may be intense, pero it's only one one time. Hintayin mong itawid yan ng 12 o'clock, makakain ka na and all that, and it goes away. So for some individuals, it becomes much more easier to comply with, especially if they're already doing it beforehand. The thing there is that when we look at these different studies, those studies that have IF as an advantage over caloric restriction are short-term lang. Ito yung mga 4 to 16 weeks, up to, yun nga, as I said, up to 6 months. Pagdating ng 6 months, nagda-drop na yung percentage of weight loss compared to caloric restriction. Nagiging pantay na sila. So it really depends whether that if you're following an IF lifestyle, if you can sustain it that long, di ba? Pero just like with caloric restriction, well, actually depende rin. If you do intermittent fasting, obviously you fast on that particular period, but that 8-hour window, for example, that you're allowed to eat, it depends on you. You can do caloric restriction during that time, which will put an additional load on your body. Sabihin, you might feel hungry also. Or you can do ad libitum. Sabihin, eat until you're satisfied. Obviously, you have more weight loss when you do caloric restriction in combination with IF. Obviously, you have that. But depending on the goals of the patient, minsan hindi nila kaya yung caloric restriction plus IF. So IF muna and then, ad libitum until you progress it, until you see an appreciable weight loss.
Right. Thank you for that.
That's it.
How about si Ma'am Eden po?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Christian. I agree 100% no, sa sinabi ni Doc. Kasi we have a lot of patients na ganyan din ang ginawa pero hindi na-sustain. What you can do po talaga is to talk to your physician and to your dietitian. Kasi yung food preference nyo will get it and also your yung dietary practices and it will modify and will help you po. So tama yun kasi every 3,500 calories addition doon sa for the whole week doon sa iyong kinakain, that's 1 pound na. So ganun yung gagawin din nating pag-aayos sa iyong diet, which is mas gusto natin at drastic weight loss, but ano lang talaga, yung gradual lang.
Let's see. Right, so na-mention po yung hindi na-sustain, narinig ko po yun, no? So, we would just like to ask this for both of our guests. So, how do we maintain a healthy weight in the long run? So, sustainability this time, how do we keep it going?
Okay. Well, personally, in my private practice, when I deal with patients with a weight problem, we don't go to them actually, they go to us. So they recognize that they need help. So for individuals who know that they have a weight problem but feel helpless, the advice there is always ask for help. In last March 4th theme in World Obesity Day, it's actually everybody needs everybody. So the first step there is actually visit your attending primary care physician to help you recognize if you have a weight problem and to screen you for other health issues associated with it. Sometimes because it may not just be your fault, meaning baka may iba kang sakit that actually cause you to lose weight. Hypothyroidism, problems. That has to be screened first because if not, tinuloy mo lang yung weight management program, ma-frustrate ka lang kasi you're not seeing results, even if you're doing it right. So I have several patients na gano'n. So talagang lo and behold, nung na-diagnose with hypothyroidism, halos automatic yung weight loss niya when she was given thyroid replacement therapy. So in addition to that, as you're talking to your physician, your health coach, you identify certain health goals. Sticking to your health or weight goal is easier if you have people around you to support you. And this goes outside the clinic. Kasi when you're in the clinic, you have your doctor there, your health coach, your nurse coordinator to help you with it. Kausapin ka about your problem and all that. But that's like an hour. After that, it's on you when you go out of the clinic. You go home. You go home with your family. You go home to you go to work, and you with your office mates and you go out with your friends, sometimes kung hindi aligned yung goals, lugi ka, apektado ka. It's gonna be an uphill climb. It's gonna be an uphill climb. So, supposed to be during your consultations with your physician, maganda sana na isang representative from the group, like for example, from your family, yung cook mo, for example, or your best friend siguro that can help you with your health goals, would be advisable. We strongly advise that. And in some weight loss programs, we also aligned with how lifestyle medicine is being conducted. You can do support groups. You join in support groups, you gather from each other's strength and share, your weaknesses, so that nadadamayan ka. You feel you're not alone. There's so many people pala having the same problem as you, and it gets better when you know that all of you are struggling with it and all that. You can give advice to each other. So I think that's a key point actually. On top of things like nutrition or fitness and all that, as Ma'am Eden said earlier, nutrition is very important, and there are a lot of patients who think that kakayanin nila mag-weight loss if they exercise a lot. So, well, it might be true for if you're doing athletic training. So, but if you are just a recreational exerciser and all that, it might not work. And again, you might just get frustrated. So 70 to 80% of successful weight loss is actually due to proper nutrition, and the remaining 20% from physical activity. It's good to learn to cook. I have some patients na they stick to the program because they find joy in buying their own food in the grocery, in the market, and then cooking their own meals. And then last tip on that, try to clean your cupboard. Because when you see, for example, a hidden stash of potato chips, mahirapan kang pigilin. Nandyan lang yun. Ubuksan mo na lang. So this is, try to maintain a healthy visual cue at home. And lastly, it was also mentioned, slow and steady wins the race. This is not a sprint. Weight loss, weight management is not a sprint. It's a lifelong thing. It's not even a race itself, because a race has a beginning and the end. Weight management or your weight loss journey is something that will stick with you. Because you don't stop after you lose the weight. After you hit a certain target weight, you don't stop there. You actually need to maintain it. And eventually, the thing that you call diet eventually becomes your lifestyle. So, why does it? Well, obviously, if you try to be fast in your weight loss, makita mo agad results. You get motivated, but so would be the signal for your body to gain it back again. So, mas mahirapan ka. Hindi pa nakakahabol yung tinatawag natin set point to your current weight. You need to give it time. Okay, so that's it.
Thank you for that, Doc. Ma'am Eden, kayo po.
Yeah, siguro madadagdag ko lang sa sinabi ni Doc, actually, almost complete na talaga. Kompleto na yung sinabi ni Doc, Siguro yung step by step lang. Wag yung ang dami mong goals. Yung kaya mo lang, yung doable lang within 24 hours. And then, just add yung mga healthy lifestyle. And then yung mga unhealthy lifestyle natin, nawawala din yun later. So, mas nadadagdagan yung healthy lifestyle natin at napapalitan yung unhealthy lifestyle natin. It's a holistic talaga. We're not saying na nutrition alone, exercise alone, combination to, and also yung ating outlook and our relationship, our environment. So, yung ating, kahit yung ating mga drinks, yung ating pagtulog. So, lahat yan may kinalaman when it comes to weight loss. Yan lang. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, I learned a lot, even considering that I've been studying this. And I'm sure our viewers have learned a lot also from the insights of Doc Flores and Ma'am Elisa, But before we proceed with our hashtag AskDoc, let's invite our viewers with our upcoming webinars and talk shows.
Yes, so we would like to invite everyone to next month's webinar. It will be on April 13, 2021. That's at Tuesday at 7 p.m. It will be live on Facebook, and we will be touching on polycystic ovary syndrome and infertility, and of course, how lifestyle measures can help those with condition, and is there hope for you to get pregnant. So watch out for that.
Okay, so I'm sure we already have a lot of questions. Let's go and answer some of them. Okay, for okay, but before we can answer the questions, we are going to go for a short break. You will like this commercial break though, so watch it and we will see you after then. Hello. Okay. So
Yes,
I'm
welcome
so
back,
happy
everyone.
to, yeah, I'm so happy to see a lot of people are still here. We have 81
Mhm.
viewers as of now. So Dr. Renan, take it away.
Alrighty, so for sure, meron mga questions dito, and merong isa, is there another indicator that we should use instead of BMI if our patients are athletic or elderly?
Good question.
Mhm.
Okay.
So we'll ask our guests. Doc
So
Christian,
Dr.
yes.
Reyes, yes.
right. So for the elderly, we're a little worried that if we go overboard with, I think in general we still use BMI, but we're worried about a condition called sarcopenia in the elderly. It's muscle wasting, and it's very common actually. And so BMI does not discern body composition.
Yes.
So if you want to, for example, evaluate body fat, as I mentioned earlier, may dalawa pa eh. May abdominal circumference or waist circumference or hip to waist ratio. That can give you a general idea of the amount of body fat that individuals carry, even if they're elderly. So for males, it should be not more than 31 cm, not more than 90 cm. So that's around 35 inches. And in females, not more than 80 cm or I think 31.5 inches. That's for the waist circumference. Now, if you want to go, there's no need to be very accurate for this. No? There are ways to actually determine body fat. Like you can do MRI or DEXA, but they're too expensive. There's actually a technology now that's being commonly used in gyms. So it's called the body biomechanical impedance machine. It's just a weighing scale. May probes lang to actually help you estimate. I wouldn't say it's actually very accurate. Would estimate the amount of body fat you have. It can also estimate the amount of lean muscle mass you have. And actually, you can use that for both elderly and athletic patients. Because obviously, if you're pretty muscular, you're a bodybuilder, you stand up in a weighing scale, lalabas yan obese 1, obese 2 ka dyan. Even if your waistline is thin or narrow. So BMI has its limits definitely, but it's a simple tool to use. But in certain cases, like athletic patients, heavily muscle patients, or the elderly, you might need to use other modalities. Other measurements like waist circumference, waist to hip ratio, and or a body biomechanical impedance analyzer machine.
All right. Thank you so much, Doc Christian.
Okay,
Doc
so for
Ann, do we
our
have
second
some
question,
more?
yeah, we definitely do. Okay, so for our second question, would you recommend water therapy diet? Is there a scientific basis for this? How about you, Ma'am Eden? Take this question.
It's okay. But not actually for weight loss eh. Kasi water therapy most likely for cleansing and yeah, detox, but not exactly for weight loss. Okay naman yung yung water therapy eh. Maganda yon. We are hydrated, we need that. But if it is for weight loss, I don't think so. For health purposes, that will be good.
Okay, thank you so much. Doc Flores, do you have
I-
anything
Yeah,
to
can I
add?
add to that? Actually, water therapy is used as an adjunct program with intermittent fasting. If you're doing every other day
Yes.
fasting or every 2 days
Yes.
fasting, you can do water therapy on days that you're fasting. So it's not a program in itself alone, but you combine it with IF.
Yun, Doc, yung pampatawid gutom sometimes
Yes.
the water.
You
Mm.
depend on the effect kasi to dilate the stomach so that it mitigates
Yeah.
the hunger.
I can remember Doc nung nag-fasting din ako every Saturday kasi I fast like Friday sunset to Saturday sunset. I just do the water therapy. But yeah, I just for para lang pangtawid gutom nga naman talaga. Siguro that's
So
not not intention lang sa for weight loss kasi for me pagod ako throughout the week. I need to rest and I want my stomach to have rest sa
Right.
mga rich food or mga unhealthy food throughout the week. Then you can do a water therapy.
right.
Okay.
Mm.
Thank you. Thank you for those answers. I'm sure a lot of those were a big surprise to some of our viewers, no? Okay, so for our third question, okay, is
Yeah,
there
so-
a special,
Mhm.
yes, okay, a special diet plan for patients with hypothyroidism?
Mhm.
Who wants to take this question? Any special diet or meal plan for those with hypothyroidism?
Okay, I'll speak muna po, no? So, syempre we have lab test naman. And then, we have a list of food where we can give them po yung mga food that can really affect po their condition. And we have hyper and hypothyroidism. And there are foods to allowed or not allowed, especially yung mga unhealthy food, yung may mga nitrates. So, and may mga diet din, may mga preparation din ng food para ma-eliminate natin yung mga chemicals that can really affect po yung condition ng ating pasyente. So, better po talaga to consult with your dietitian kasi yung gagawin po natin is more on specific, more on tailor fit po. Based po dun sa preference din ng pasyente natin. Kasi may hirap yung hindi individualized yung ating diet prescription. And we can give naman po yung mga guidelines kung ano yung mga food that are not allowed and food that are allowed when you have hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, and other health conditions. But if you want to seek a mas specific, tailored fit, individualized, dapat po you have to consult with your dietitian. Doc?
Is this for weight loss or is it to treat hypothyroidism?
I think, Doc, it is for weight loss with patients with concurrent hypothyroidism.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of that's actually a difficult question, but well, as Ma'am Eden said, basic things similar to individuals without hypothyroidism are to be considered, like, for example, taking out processed food, taking out fast food, sugary drinks, and all that. But you have to determine what is the cause of hypothyroidism. Could it be iodine deficiency? But I don't, hindi na masyadong uso yung iodine deficiency given that all our salt are iodized. So, but you have to determine whether the individual's hypothyroidism is driven by low iodine. Then you can probably recommend iodine-rich foods such as seaweed, fish, dairy, and eggs. So basically, that's it.
Okay, thank you. How about Sir Renan, for our last question? What do we have?
Yeah, so for our last question, now the distribution of fat deposition among Caucasians versus Asians are different. Thus, WHO issued a lower cutoff of 23 BMI instead of 25 for Caucasians. So, as Filipinos, should we use BMI of 23 as cutoff?
Hold on. Can I share a screen? I'll just show you this one slide. I wasn't shown kanina.
Opo.
Hold on. I'll just share screen. The reason, as I mentioned kanina, there's a reason for that. If we're following WHO criteria and just trying to, kasi ang WHO 25 to 29 overweight, 30 to 35 obese 1 pa lang. Using that criteria, we're missing a lot of individuals that develop cardiovascular and metabolic risk factors, namely individuals from the bracket of 23, seen here, to 25.
Right.
This is Philippine data. This axis actually shows the risk for an individual to have cardiovascular and metabolic conditions, and it rises up among Filipinos if your BMI starts at 23, 23.9, 24 to 25, especially. And just take a look. This graph shows an increasing trend of these risk factors up to 29.9. Hindi pa nga nakakatungtong ng 30. So ibig sabihin, we're missing a chunk of these individuals so that we can do early intervention. So that's and of course, to answer that question, yes, I would recommend that we use 23 as a cutoff for our BMI. We're screening for individuals who have weight problems.
Okay, thank you so much. That also may be a shock for some people kasi feeling ko yung iba goal nila just not to hit 25, no? So now you guys have a lower target to hit 23. Okay,
Yes.
so thank you to everyone who did send in their questions. We're sorry we weren't able to answer all of them. But if you do have further questions or you want to clarify anything that we have discussed so far, you may send them to our guests directly. Or you may contact the PCLM FB page and we will make sure to get them to Doc Flores and to Ma'am Eden, no? Okay, so that's all for our hashtag Ask Doc segment. It's now time for our Mythbusters.
Welcome to our next segment, Mythbusters. Now, I know a lot of you know how this works, but for those who have just joined us, we invite all of our viewers to answer myth or fact. All right. Now, on the comment section, that's where you're going to put your answers, and we will be reading each of the question. Our guests will answer each question afterwards, and then, of course, the first one who types the correct answer correctly for each question will win a prize. So come join us. Don't go away. And it's super fun. Plus, great prizes await the lucky winners as well.
Definitely.
So let's go to our first Mythbuster. All right. Now, first, weight loss will fix all of our health issues. Is this a myth or a fact? Weight loss will fix all of our health issues. Comment down below. All right, so time's up. And so let's find out, is this a myth or a fact? why don't we ask one of our guests, Doc Christian, is this a myth or a fact?
Can I comment? It's a trick question, actually. It's a sweeping statement, and more definitely, if it's a sweeping statement, it's a myth. But there might be some truth to that. It may not correct all of our health problems, but it may correct all of the problems related to the excess weight. So if you try to lose the weight at a manageable pace at a certain goal, actually, as little as 5% weight loss from baseline can improve so many parameters, not just clinical, but also biochemical, like cholesterol, blood sugar, and all that. No, we're not asking for miraculously lahat mag-normalize yan. Again, that's per stage. No? If you're first starting out with the weight loss journey, you'd see some improvements, but it's different for each individual. May ibang nakaka-achieve ng weight goal nila, and health in general after 3 months as a secondary effect from weight loss, in iba 6 months. So, but again, like I said earlier, if you don't screen for pre-existing conditions that contribute to your excess weight, like hypothyroidism, then weight loss will not correct it. So it's a myth for me.
Okay, great. So it's a myth. All right, now let's have the next myth. Doc Ann, please take it.
Okay, so thank you for before our second mythbuster. I would like to remind all our viewers, if you are going to answer, please include the number of the question. So if you will be answering the second mythbuster, you have to put 2, period, and then your answer. If it doesn't have a number, it might be confused with another question, so it will not be counted. So don't forget, number, period, and then the answer to your question. Okay, so for our second mythbuster, obesity and or being overweight are just about choices. No other factors come into play. Obesity and or being overweight are just about choices. No other factors come into play. Send in your answers now. Okay, so for the second mythbuster, may we ask Ma'am Eden to answer the question?
Oh, it's myth. No? Kasi we know that ang dami nag-interplay dun sa overweight and obesity, environmental choices, not only choices, not only food, but also genetics, and maraming factor siya. So, hindi lang yung nabanggit kanina.
Oo, na-mention nga po ni Doc Christian na sometimes if we have a metabolic problem like hypothyroidism, that can also contribute, no, Doc?
Okay, thank you health conditions natin.
Yes, okay, sige. Thank you. So I hope someone won. That was a myth. For our third mythbuster, we have Renan.
All right, so the third mythbuster. Now, fat babies and children are definitely healthy. Again, fat babies and children are definitely healthy. Is this a myth or a fact? Comment down. All right, so I hope you were able to catch up. Dr. Flores, what can you say about this, Doc?
Not a pediatrician, but I'll try to answer that.
Okay.
It's a myth. And I'll share one slide to show you why. Because though we don't use the same BMI category for, we don't use the same BMI category for children, but we still use BMI, but we use what we call growth charts using Z-scores. And it's actually dependent on okay, I'll just show it na lang para it's easier to explain. I can't seem to find the file. Okay, here you go. So this is a growth chart, weight in kilos and height in centimeters. So you just plot it here, and if, for example, a kid that stands at 90 centimeters with a 13 kilogram weight is here at the green. Tumatapat siya dun sa green, which is 0. That's the 50th percentile. And that means that the kid's weight for height is normal. If the same kid gained some weight, for example, nag 14, tama ba to? 14.5 kilos, umabot na siya sa plus 2. 2 lines above 0 is actually considered overweight. That's 85% percentile. And then kapag 3 lines above, for example, umabot na siya ng 19, for example, 19 kilos, same height, 90 centimeters. He's way above the third line pa nga eh. Pag lumampas na siya sa third line, plus 3 as we call it, more likely that child is obese. So may hangganan yung katabaan na pwede sa mga bata. As you can see here, this is a chart for boys. It's gender specific and age specific, 2 to 5 years old. You use a different chart for girls. You use a different chart if you're dealing with an older kid. And last, I think there's another slide here that shows naman the BMI chart. This is, if you get the BMI of the kid and plot it with age, this is from age 2 to 20. This came from CDC pala. This came from CDC. So ganun din ang idea neto. So if the weight of the child, the BMI of the child falls in the green area, okay pa ang weight niya. Pag nasa yellow area na siya, which coincides with the 85th percentile, overweight na siya. And if it's beyond this line, or the 95th percentile, nasa red area na siya, obese. And proper, appropriate interventions may need to be implemented. Okay. So to answer the question, it's a myth.
Okay. All right. So I hope somebody got the answers. Okay, I can see the answers from here in the comments.
Yes, definitely. That may be news to others, but it also may be known already to others. So we see correct answers in the comment section, no? So thank you everyone who participated in Myth or Fact. Stay tuned to find out who our lucky winners are. You do have prizes, and we have few more details for you. We would also like to thank our wonderful guests. Thank you for spending your evening and expertise with us. I'm sure we all learned a lot. Could we have a few parting words for our viewers, Bob?
Weight management, you don't have to face a problem with weight alone. Please try reaching out and asking for help, and there will be people like people in PCLM who is ready to help you. Okay.
Thank you. And for me, dietary habits and lifestyle require willpower, dedication, and perseverance. Kayang-kaya nyo po yan. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ma'am Eden and Dr. Christian. So yes, kayang-kaya. And again, thank you very much, doctors, for this informative night, and to all our viewers as well. So if you have any questions or inquiries and clarifications, just reach out to them in their social media accounts.
Yeah, okay. So before we say goodbye, of course, we say hello. We want to say hello to some of our viewers. Let's see the comment section. Sinong early bird natin? Okay, we have hello, Ma'am Alma watching from Hamtik, Antique.
Oh, wow. Dami, no? And yes, there's too many people here, even from also from Antique, right? Faith Untal Dakila. All right. And a lot more, actually. Richard Camacho says, you to you, Doc Ann.
Yes,
You have
Doc
some
Richard
cheers.
is a doctor also. He's a good friend of mine. Hello, Doc Richard. Okay.
All right. And there's a lot of people here we may not be able to mention, but they're bright students, Doc Ann. Parang tama lahat yung mga sagot, oh.
Oo nga
ni-review
eh, ang
ko.
galing. Good job, everyone.
Great job.
Oh,
Yeah.
sige. So just a reminder for anyone who still has any questions or concerns, please message the FB PCLM page. That's Philippine College of Lifestyle Medicine. And we will make sure to get your questions to either Ma'am Eden or Dr. Flores or any one of us.
All right. And so we will be announcing later on
Yeah.
who will be the winners are of our Mythbusters. So please don't go away.
Right. So please stay. But before that, we would like to thank our wonderful partners. We have Remnant Institute and Culinary MD. We also have Four Leaf Lifestyle Medical Group. And last but not least, Plated Prescriptions.
And of course, we would also like to thank our sponsor tonight, FoliGo. And of course, we have ARB Salad Master.
Right. And we also would like to say a huge thank you to our events committee helping us behind the scenes. So we have Talk Show and Creative Director, Doc April, Don Lucero, our Technical Director, Doc Shiril Halad, helping us on Facebook and YouTube, our doctors Javs Esturco, Phoebe Letaba, and Carissa Los Santas, and Doc Kat Paul. So a big thank you to our very, very supportive PCLM officers. To Doc Bishi also for welcoming us today. And of course to you, my co-host, Renan Peralta. Thank you so much for tonight.
Yes, thank you also, Doc Ann, for having me here. And now it's time to announce the winners of Myth or Fact. All right, so let's see. Who are the winners? All right, the first winner, we have Rachel Theolog. Did I pronounce it right? Yes. So Rachel, congratulations. And who's second? Doreen Esteban, congratulations. Third,
Congrats.
last but not least, Darlene Ortiz. Thank you for participating and congratulations once again.
Congratulations to all our winners. So we do need some information from you guys. Please message us on our FB page with the following details: your name, your address, your email address, and your contact number. We need this information to be able to send to you your prizes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so for any of you who have any questions for me, you can contact me on Facebook, Doc Ann Rodriguez, Instagram, Francis Rodriguez, and even on Twitter, Doc Ann Rodriguez. Or you can email me at, yeah, you guessed it, docannrodriguez@gmail.com. How about you, Sir Renan?
Yeah, so Doc Ann, if anyone has questions or they have inquiries, you can just go to Facebook, Renan Villano Peralta. It's down below. And Instagram at kapaglaom_Renan. So there it is.
Okay, send us some love. But also definitely give a like, a share, and subscribe to the new YouTube channel of the Philippine College of Lifestyle Medicine. Follow us on Facebook also for updates. Please visit our website. Our membership is open for physicians and allied health professionals. We also have varied courses available on our website if you are interested in lifestyle medicine. You may leave us a message at Facebook as well if you are interested to become a certified lifestyle medicine physician or professional.
All right. And so it was such a great night. We learned a lot. There was a lot of enlightenment. So we thank you again, everyone, for spending the time with us. And we look forward to spending more informative and fun moments with you all.
Definitely. Okay, so we hope you guys learned and had as much fun as we did. See you all in the next Wellness Avenue. Stay safe and stay healthy. Good luck on your journey towards a healthier and happier life, the lifestyle medicine way. Good night, everyone.
Our gut is the home of trillions of living microorganisms. In order to live, multiply, and perform their functions, they need to be fed sufficiently, or else they will look for other sources of food within our body, which will eventually make us sick. Fruits and vegetables contain prebiotics, such as fructooligosaccharides, the right food for our gut bacteria. However, proper amount may not be acquired through natural food only. Hence, supplementation is needed too. Feed your gut with Folago.
Thank you.